Mother's Day is this Sunday, a day to celebrate the importance of moms in our lives, and they are very important. But if you have a difficult relationship with your mother, especially if you're a woman, the celebration can be a bit awkward and perhaps uncomfortable. Of course, the words like guilt and control and jealousy might sound familiar, or won't you just let me grow up and be an adult? Oh, that's my own issue, maybe. Lisa Brateman is a practicing New York psychotherapist who specializes in mother-daughter relationships, and she's here to get us through Mom's Special Day. Lisa, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
You know, this generated a whole lot of discussion in our conference when we were talking about this segment because, you know, of course, our relationship with our mothers, it's the oldest, it's the longest, it's the most important, it's also the most complex.
Yes.
Why is it so complex?
Because it's the oldest, the longest. Your mom is still the authority figure, regardless how old you are. If you're 60 years old and your mother is 80, she's still your authority figure. It's loaded because you spend Mother's Day with her, you want it to be a wonderful day, but you're angry. And it's really hard to celebrate your mother when you're mad.
What do you do? What do you do then to get through the holiday? You can't just send flowers and then pretend that you didn't spend the last several years or whatever mad at her.
It's about, in any relationship, it's about really talking about it as things come up. Because when we let it fester, when it grows, everything we hear that they say all of a sudden is a criticism, is a blame. You hear it, even as an adult, you hear your mother from a 10-year-old perspective. I did this wrong. You don't like this about me. You don't like my hair. You hate my outfit. My God, don't talk about my clothes. And even if the mother says something neutral, the adult child still hears it as if they were 10 years old, and that builds up. So boundaries are really, really important.
Why is the mother-daughter relationship seemingly so complex, more so than the mother-son relationship?
Women in general are more emotional, and the other piece of it is really important. Unlike a mother and a son, a mother often sees their daughter as an extension of themselves. And because of that, I want you to have a life that I didn't have. I want you to have a better life, or I want you to be exactly the way I am. I want you to stay home and not work and make lunch and dinner and drive the kids around. And when you don't want to do it, when you have other choices and you have other opportunities, you want to pursue them. But I think you should do it my way because look how great you turned out.
Perhaps what's some advice you can give to us who might have little daughters and want to change, not so happy with our relationship with our mothers, but want to make sure that we can work on our relationship with our daughters to kind of change the dynamic.
Outcome.
Change the outcome.
Yes, because great question. If you don't question your relationship with your mother, you're going to do a lot of the same things with your daughter. And it's like one day, how did that happen?
How did I become my mother?
Yes, the biggest feared question that people ask. The real piece of it is communication. Rather than, yes, when your daughter's very young, you're directive. You're protecting them, you know, making sure they don't put their hands in the plugs and cross the street and all of that. But as they're getting older, it's little by little moving away from the authoritative role, asking them questions. How do they feel about that? What would you like to do? Give them options, because then they don't feel controlled. And when they don't feel controlled, they don't resent you. If they feel controlled, that's where the rebellion comes in.
You know, and I wonder if there's anything to the temperament, personality tendency. If you're more like your mother, perhaps there is more butting of the heads.
Oh, yes.
All right, that takes care of that issue. Let's get on to the tips. All right, we want you to help us not just identify all the problems. So you brought 5 tips to help survive Mother's Day. Okay, so I'm going to go through all of them, and then I want you to come back and expound on. The first one is select a neutral meeting place, and I'm assuming this is on Mother's Day, or if you just want to talk to her about something. Okay, set conversation topic boundaries, speak like an adult. I assume this is the mother that should speak like an adult, or maybe the child, I don't know. Give the gift of listening and write your own card, assuming again Mother's Day card, and then be patient with the process. So let's go back to the top and see if we can zoom through these. Why is selecting a neutral place and not the living room you grew up in the better idea?
Once an adult daughter walks through that threshold, she regresses. Because she's looking at everything that she grew up with. She goes up to her old room, she feels like a teenager. So in order to approach your mother as an adult, set yourself up for success. Don't walk into those triggers or those emotional traps. Neutral place, do something different. Celebrate your mother in a way. What does she need and what does she want? She wants time. She's complaining, I never see you, you never call me, I don't know anything about your life. Give her the gift of time. And
can I ask, is it okay to call it a day of denial? In other words, honestly, to deny all of the questioning and negativity and just celebrate the positive parts of the relationship?
Absolutely. Leave your anger at the door. If you want, you could pick it up on the way back, on the way out. I'm not suggesting this is a day of denial, the day of forgiveness, but that doesn't mean that Monday you're not going to tackle some of those issues and set boundaries that you think need to be in place. I don't believe in denial.
Let's get into a couple more of your tips. I'm going to combine these because we're running out of time.
Okay.
You say set boundaries in the conversations and talk like an adult. Tell us how to do that.
Approach your mother as the adult you are now, not the child that you were. Approach her, speak clearly, concisely. Don't lie, don't manage. You lie to somebody, you manage them.
No whining.
Set up boundaries, no whining and no bullying. Don't talk about your ex-husband and what a loser she thinks he was or is, and make sure you say, okay, we're not going to talk about religion, we're not going to talk about my ex-husband, we're not going to talk about this.
Lisa, that sounds a little bit like denial, but let's
today.
You say write your own card instead of just buying the pre-written Mother's Day card. Why?
Well, a lot of those pre-written Mother's Day cards, they're easy to buy, but they're not as authentic as they could be. They don't say, I love you most of the time. They say, you're wonderful, you're perfect. Write something meaningful, authentic to you.
I love how optimistic you are. We really need a whole hour just for this topic, but Lisa Brateman, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And happy Mother's Day.
Well, thank you very much. You too.